Hello everyone, this is Mumbo and welcome back to another episode on the Hermitcraft server. This is episode 89, and today we are starting things off in the Sahara warehouse because earlier in the week, me and Iskal did a live stream and we managed to knock down all of the builds. Check this out. This looks totally ridiculous. So we have got all 47 modules in place, all built up, and then we also started work on the pulse extenders as well, because these modules, I mean, these are kind of half of the story. These pulse extenders right here are actually responsible for setting the number of items that get refilled into the shulker boxes. Now, if you don't really understand the redstone, I'd highly suggest checking out the redstone video where I actually designed these things. But these are essential, and we had to, well, we had to do some real tricky stuff live in the stream, which, as you guys know, I kind of struggle with, but we managed to pull through it. So this is the design that we're going to be using for the pulse extenders, so we have to build all of those in place as well, and then we have to do the item transportation, we have to do the shulker box reloading with all the hoppers at the top, and then we have to do all of the item sending and loading and the shopping stuff and everything like that. There's still quite a lot left to do with the Sahara warehouse project. But I think we can all agree that this is looking absolutely spectacular. I mean, it's seriously one of the coolest things I think I've been a part of on the Hermitcraft server. So I can't wait to get it finished, but to be honest with you, I personally am just loving the experience of actually constructing it. That's kind of one of my favourite parts. I don't know what I'll do with myself once it's done. I mean, this is all I think about in the evenings. Despite this, we aren't actually going to be doing anything directly related to Sahara in today's Hermitcraft episode, because we're going to be working on the ridiculous melon and pumpkin farm that we started off in the previous episode of Hermitcraft. Now, the first thing that I needed is a ton of rails, which I've managed to gather up really quite easily. That is just over 1.5 shulker boxes, which is about 2,700 rails, and actually it wasn't even that expensive, so that is brilliant. The issue is powered rails. I currently have 42. We need a lot more than 42 to make this project function. Thankfully though, all is not lost, because we have got the ridiculous gold farm on the Hermitcraft server that, as you can see, it does a pretty decent job at producing gold. And I think we can all agree it's extremely satisfying to use. That noise never gets boring. So, with a nice little AFK session there, we have managed to get ourselves at least a decent stash of gold, which we can then use to create some powered rails. I reckon that should be enough. I'm hoping anyway. Right, let's start getting these things in then. So, I've been making my way down the line, and I've been placing in lines of redstone blocks, which are going to be powering all of these powered rails. And what we're going to have is we're going to have a bunch of independent lines of these that are all going to have hopper minecarts on them, and these are what are going to be picking up all of the items from the dirt that's going to be on this top level here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10... and then a line of powered rails here, and I think this could be the last one, because then this is where they're going to bounce back and go to the item collection system, which is at the other end. Anyway, let's get this filled. And this one right here is the last of the last. So there we go, we have got one full set of rails covering one side of this farm. And I gotta say, I mean, I kind of want to fly up and see how this looks, because I imagine it's actually going to look quite interesting. Yep, yes it does. Check that out. Alright, but we still... well, that's making my eyes hurt. Okay, I'm going to stop doing that. Let's do the other half. And that's done now too. So if we just place in these blocks, that is where all of the hopper minecarts are actually going to be going. And I've just thought we need to do... I don't actually know how we're going to do the loading and unloading system just yet. I think probably it's going to be based on a redstone clock. So they're just going to be sent off periodically and then periodically drop off their items. I think that's probably the smart way to do it. But before we do anything like that, I think the dirt needs to go on top. I think if we get the actual farm itself constructed, then we can start worrying about the details. I have just realised though we have overlooked something, and that is the water. So here we are in the testing world. These are the flying machines that we aren't actually going to be using. We're going to be using a slightly different design, but the water still needs to be there, and these water sources are placed 8 blocks apart from one another, which is so frustrating because our farm is 9 blocks wide. So it means that we can't just run the water down the sides, because that means the central section will be unhydrated. So we're going to have to do something like this, and we're going to have to drop them in there. And then I'm guessing if we just pop underneath, yeah, so our little minecart tracks actually just drop through like that. Alright, and trust me, I am aware that the one specific minecart track I looked at seemed to be broken. But no, I get the picture. No one tell Iskal that I'm doing this. I mean, you know... Ice is actually quite useful, but I just don't want him to know. I've just thought, instead of using trapdoors and things like that, I could totally just use slabs and then waterlog them. But that means I can't use ice, and I've just got a bunch of ice. So maybe ice isn't that maybe still no one cares about ice. Once again, please no one tell Iskall this, but I used ice for all of this, and it was a wonderful experience. It was very quick and very painless, but yeah, no one, just keep that quiet, okay? Anyway, moving swiftly on, we now have all of the water in place. We kind of have a framework lined out, so now it's time to actually place in all of the dirt blocks. We have to cover this entire space here with dirt, and that's going to be the planting fields for our melons and pumpkins. To be honest with you, this is actually a lot of the farm completed. Like, we're making some seriously good progress here. And we've just made yet more seriously good progress. So here is all of the dirt and everything put in place. That sounded strange. Was that outside? Was that outside my window? I think I might have just either had a gust of wind, but it sounded like a minecart. This is the life of living in a VW bus at this point in time. Anyway, we've got all of the dirt and all of the grass in place. Obviously, the grass isn't needed to be grass. It's just that's all I had lying around. So all of those are now in. I mean, what really comes next? I guess we could start planting things. I mean, I suppose if I grab myself a hoe, then I could start actually laying out all of the farmland, so we get a rough idea of what to do there. Or do we do the flying machines? Or do we do the item pickup systems? I don't really know. I mean, this is all going so well that I haven't actually planned this far ahead. I think that the farm landing is probably a good move, and then actually placing in the melons and the pumpkins so this thing actually starts growing stuff. Yeah, let's get that done. Check out how rich I am. Diamond hoe. I mean, I still have so many diamonds. I don't really understand how I've kept them for so long because I'm constantly buying stuff. But look! I still have over 10 stacks. This is, I'll be honest, one of the less fun things that I've done for this project, because there's really no way to do it at high speeds. Like, it's really, really difficult to kind of pace yourself. That being said, we have done one full row, but my finger's already hurting. I am getting much faster though, but it is making me dizzy. It is hurting my brain, especially when I go into this here. But we have to just keep the rhythm and... oh, no, I've messed it up. Whoa! That was very close. How am I still on fire, by the way? That skeleton really almost got me then. Wow. You know, I remember when I first came up with the concept for this farm, I was going to build it twice as big. So there was going to be 2 modules on each side as opposed to 1 module on each side. And yeah, I for one, I'm very glad that I didn't do that. Because A, it would have been pointlessly big. No one needs that many melons and pumpkins, even if we are going to be selling them incredibly cheap at Sahara. But more importantly, it would have taken... yeah, it would have just been a nightmare. A nightmare of a project. Anyway, I think that is everything fully checkerboarded. Now let's make sure I have a decent amount of durability in my elytra before we fly up here. And let's take a look. Nice! Look how cool that looks! Now, obviously... oh, no! Oh, gosh! Slimes! Oh, for goodness sake! So if slimes spawn, which that is a slime chunk right there, they then jump around and trample on my crops! This is not good! What do I do about that? Seriously, what do I do about that? And what is this guy doing? Stop it! Stop destroying my crops! I mean, it doesn't seem to be doing anything, but it's actively like he's like aggressively trying to trample my crops. Can you not do that, please? Thank goodness for that. Now, I did think I would plant in everything, but having actually just witnessed that, I think maybe I won't. I'll bring these pumpkin seeds over, but then I think I'm going to do lines of glowstone first to prevent our entire farming field just being wiped out by, I don't know, protesting spiders, I guess. Well, that was bound to happen at some point. It was bound to happen at some point. We just got very lucky that it didn't actually release all of that water, because that would have wiped away all of these rails. Man, I cannot wait for 1.14 when there's 100% drop rate from this sort of thing, because that is actually a bit of a joke. that it's broken all those rails. Alright, progress has been made. Obviously we got the glowstone from the witch farm drops, which is fantastic. That's come in very handy. Now, I mean, I clearly crafted way too much of it, by the way, but now it is time to actually start planting in all of the pumpkins and melons, and that means that about 95% of the farm is done, because then we just have the easy bit of building up the flying machines, and then I guess placing in all the glass. But let's face it, even though this has been the long-winded bit, it's definitely been the boring bit. I cannot wait to actually build up these flying machines. Oh, one quick thing that I feel like I should mention is a lot of people were worried down in the comment section that by building this, I was going to reduce the rates of the witch farm. That isn't actually the case, because these things are built really low to the ground, and this perimeter actually only works up to y equals 22, so around about the level that we're actually standing on right here, and all of this is underneath that, so it's all going to be completely unspawnable, and it's not going to be affecting the rates when we are AFKing up on our little platform up there. But thank you ever so much to everyone that did comment, because that is the sort of thing that I would generally forget about. So thank you for having me covered. Now I'm curious, in this design, okay, so we have a line of melons, and then we have a line of pumpkins. Alright, that makes life really, really easy for building this. Oh, and if you're wondering why we have to alternate melons and pumpkins, because realistically I would just like this to be a pumpkin farm, it's because apparently that actually increases the efficiency massively. You'll have to watch Your Mango's video to find that one out. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the first pumpkin generated by our brand new melon and pumpkin farm. Is that going to cause an issue, or is it actually okay? I think it might be okay. I don't know if those little slimes are going to actually trample the crops. I sincerely hope they don't. All is going well, then. All is going well. So we've got all of the pumpkins, we've got all the melons. Now things are starting to look absolutely awesome. I'm loving the way that it looks, but there's a structure that's been in between these things for the entire time that I've been building it, and I think it's time for it to go. The strange kind of mountain, I guess, that we have off in this corner. Aha! That right there is our first melon. Wow, this is growing pretty quick. Okay, now that that's all taken out, let's pop into the redstone testing world, because I need to re-familiarize myself with these actual flying machines. Okay, so if we look at what's going on here, we have got this going on, and then this going up. This is easy. This is easy. I've built ridiculous flying machines in my time. I can totally build this. All I'm going to need is a bunch of redstone components. Now, I've got all the slime blocks, but if I take a look up at the top, I'm assuming with Sahara, I don't have any redstone. No. I mean, you know, I should have expected that really, but I am... I'm so cleaned out. I've got one dispenser. One dispenser to my name. Thankfully, though, I've managed to craft up a bunch of stuff. Flying machines actually don't require that many crazy components. It's just kind of slime blocks and redstone blocks and observers and things. So now I'm in the process of actually constructing this thing, and it's coming together quite nicely. I mean, those are the pickup systems. There we have the actual flying machine itself. Yeah, that's in that mix right there. And now we just need to build the second half. It's actually done quite impressively. And this is it. I mean, this is it. All fully constructed, looking great. And do you know what's even better? We also have another one. So we have got both of the flying machines all fully in place, all with all of their launch systems and everything like that. That's what all of these repeaters and everything like that are. That's so that they go back and forth and it's all working properly. So both of these are now in place, and both of them are ready to be sent off to actually harvest. Well, it would only be this central line here, but they are ready to be sent off. However, they would never return, which isn't the best. So we need to do the little stations that come in at the ends here, and they are, I mean, they're quite easy. I'm positively surprised by this project. I really, really am. I mean, it's a lot of grind work and it's a lot of repetitive block placing, but look at the size of it. I mean, it's so worth it. I'm a bit heartbroken, but this row has to go. I mean, honestly, I don't know if we're going to get enough melons and pumpkins now that that row is missing. I'm kind of a little bit nervous, but I'm going to activate this thing for the first time. The little stations have been built on either end. Nothing too crazy over there. So let's fire it. There's obsidian in front of it. Okay. Let's fire it. Oh, I've forgotten a piston. Okay, let's fire it. Alright, this thing seems to be working. This thing seems to be working. Now, as I say, we don't have any of the glass coverings above the melons and pumpkins right now, so that means that they aren't getting broken. But the actual system itself is now working. We have got ourselves... I mean, there is the little harvester, look, and you can see the one in the middle, that is actually breaking melons and pumpkins. So if we take a look down here, we should be seeing... There should at least be a few, and yep, there are. So look, you can see we've got a pumpkin there. I mean, it's not harvesting a crazy amount, but it is doing the job. And then hopefully when it gets to the end, we should see it will flip around and then start coming back. That's what I'm nervous about. It's really difficult to judge perspective right now. It feels like it should be there, but by the looks of things, it definitely isn't. Has it hit the end and is it coming back? That looks like it's coming back to me. Awesome! Okay, so this thing is functioning. We've actually got ourselves a fully built system. This is a melon and pumpkin farm. But it is a melon and pumpkin farm that is going to spill out all of its melons and pumpkins onto the floor. So I guess we probably should wrap it up with a little bit of glass going around the outside. And then I think as far as the actual glass that goes on top of these things, I'm actually going to wait for a little while. Oh, okay. So is this grown in all the possible... Ah. No, clearly not. Clearly I was wrong because I thought... So that's never going to grow. Yeah, so that's never going to grow anywhere. Okay. Alright, so we've probably reached maximum capacity. My idea was that I was going to wait for all of the spots to be filled and then I can easily place in all of the glass. But I guess if there's certain spots that will never be filled, then I'm going to be waiting for quite some time. This is another thing in Minecraft that I would describe as supremely satisfying. I feel very serene in my VW bus right now, even if it is very cold. Now, I gotta say, this is looking sweet. How cool is this? Now, I've been doing some more thinking about it. I definitely think that industrial farms for Sahara should go in this hole, and we should just fill it up with all sorts of ridiculous things. But this is looking very, very cool. I'm a big fan of this. And there are still a ton of things that also need to be done. For example, we need to set up all of the hopper minecart systems and them going back and forth. We need to set up the item collection systems, because I imagine that's going to be pretty brutal. There's going to be so many items flowing through this thing, so we have to work that out. And we also have to get all of the glass in place on top of the blocks. So there's a long list of things. And you know, I've been thinking about this glass thing. I actually think that maybe stone slabs could be the way to go. I just think that could look cooler. I mean, it's a very grey area. Like, the whole space is incredibly grey. I suppose, I mean, we have so much stone that we can kind of throw stone at it and give it a go. And then if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's no big deal. What are we thinking here, then? How do we like it? Oh, I think it looks pretty good. I mean, it's difficult. You know what? I'm going to do one full side. Let's do one full side of a side. And then we'll look at it from there. I guess that's where I'm going to see it the most. I mean, it looks pretty cool when you're flying over it. Being able to see all the melon and pumpkins underneath. That looks really, really good. And then from here, it looks very stony. But that's also... That's fine. I actually like it more when we're flying with the Elytra. Oh, this looks cool. Ladies and gentlemen, this is all very, very nice and very, very finished at this point in time. Oh, that looks so much cooler than it did before. I'm so glad we decided to go for stone. This looks awesome. This is seriously so cool. So there we go. This is done. This is done for now. Obviously, we still have all of the item storage and things like that. We're going to do complex things with that. So that's all going to happen in the next Hermitcraft episode. But as you can probably tell, you know, I've been playing Minecraft for about 14 hours today. I'm knackered. My brain isn't working properly. I can't put sentences together in the slightest. So I hope that you enjoyed. If you did, please hit that like button. And if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later.